Chapter 6. We start off as we see a house burned down. We see that it's the fake Miyu's house which was burned down in the past. As the fake Miyu is standing and looking at the burned remains of her house, the real Miyu comes behind her as she calls her name. The fake Miyu turns around and sees her. The real Miyu asks her, "Fukagawa from the same class, right? I moved here just last week, if you still remember that." As the fake Miyu is getting drenched in the rain, she looks at the real Miyu with lifeless eyes. The real Miyu warmly smiles at her and says that it's such a coincidence for them to have the same name, and tells her that she's also Fukagawa Miyu. In the present, we see another burnt house. We see the MC looking at the burnt remains as he looks worried. We see that it's Murai's house. He stands there as he thinks that Murai's house, luckily, was put out before the fire could spread to the neighbors. He thinks that everything went just as Miyu said, and it's kind of frustrating. It wasn't considered a full destruction, but the insurance still covered some of it. He remembers when the house was burning and what Miyu had said to Murai and her mother. He thinks that maybe everything played out the way Miyu scripted it to. Now we see what happened after Miyu said that it was a good thing that their house is burning. Murai's mother hears this and looks at Miyu. She slowly walks towards Miyu as Murai tries to call her. As she goes closer to Miyu, with anger in her eyes, she raises her hand to beat Miyu. As the mother is closing in, the MC looks shocked while Miyu just stands there. The mother slaps Miyu and Miyu just takes it. The MC peeks through his fingers and sees this. He wonders why didn't Miyu try to dodge it and thinks that surely there was enough time to move out of the way. The mother looks scared and worried as she says, "What the fuck is hope?" She screams at Miyu and says that there's nothing called hope anymore because she just lost everything. She tries to say that this house is her only remaining thing of her husband, but Murai stops her and tells her that maybe there's still something left as he looks worried. He runs towards the house as he tells her that he'll go find them. Seeing him rush towards the burning house worries the MC as he tells Murai to wait. Murai tries to go into the house, but as he grabs the door handle, he burns himself as it's too hot. He manages to open it and enters the burning house. The MC sees this and gets scared for Murai. Miyu looks real calm as she says, "Now then, I wonder what remains." She looks at the mother with judgmental look and asks, "An empty bank book? A memento or the like?" She tells the mother that she even made her son throw himself into the fire. Must be something worth looking for in that heap of trash. The mother finally realizes what just happened and looks scared. She tries to say that she wouldn't make her son do that, but Miyu interrupts and says, "I." She continues and says, "What on earth have I done? Why am I the only one who has to suffer like this? God, please, show me some mercy." Miyu looks pissed as she says, I. Hearing her say this scares the MC and the mother. Miyu continues and says, "Sorry for your loss. How sad. How pitiful. I want to help." She smiles and asks, "Then what about your son?" Hearing this confuses the mother. Miyu continues and asks her if she thought that she was the only one suffering. Her son is suffering as much as her. She asks her who does she think is going to help him? Miyu looks at the burning building and tells them that if things continue like this, soon nothing will be left behind. She might actually lose it all. Miyu puts a big smile and says, "Including your dear precious son." The mother finally realizes that she's going to lose her son too, and gets so scared that she can't speak. The MC also stands there as he looks shocked. He makes up his mind and tells the mother that he'll go save Murai and runs towards the burning house. Seeing the dumbass MC run towards the house scares Miyu as she screams his name. Suddenly Murai bursts out the front door and runs out. As the door opens, it smacks the MC and he falls down. Murai comes out as he is scared, crying and out of breath. He apologizes to his mother and tells her that it was so hot inside that he could barely breathe. All he managed to get was one of his dad's leather shoes by the entrance. The mother and Miyu stand there looking unimpressed after seeing the MC eat shit right after trying to be a hero. Suddenly Murai notices something on the ground. He sees the MC on the ground like Yamcha and gets confused and asks him what is he doing. Now we see the MC explain that despite how spectacular the fire looked, it was put out in less than 5 minutes. Murai suffered minor burns but was not seriously injured. As for the mother, who was the source of their worries, she finally realized what she was doing to Murai and finally hugs him and cries her heart out. The MC smiles as he looks at the mother and son, while Miyu stands there with a straight face. Miyu turns to the MC and asks him, Why is he the most seriously injured here? He stands there in silence as a dumbass with a fracture of the intermediate phalanx of the pinky finger, which will take 2 weeks to recover. The next day, we see the lady who was fighting with Mirai being taken away by the cops. The MC sees this and thinks that the arsonist was promptly arrested and that this story's development is too fast. He sees her face and remembers that she's the neighborhood association president and the person who refused the taiyaki which Miyu offered. As he's thinking this, we see some people in the back say that they can't believe that Yamasaki was the serial arsonist. He turns around and listens to them more. The people continue and say that the cake shop across the street caught her on their security cameras. She continues and says that the salesperson said that the police received an anonymous message saying, "Check the camera." Now we see the MC and Miyu together as the MC eats an ice cream and won another free one. As he looks at his winning stick, he asks her, "Do you have any idea?" She replies and says, "And what if I have one?" He immediately screams and says that he knew it. She must have done something, otherwise things wouldn't just move along and resolve so smoothly. She calmly tells him that it was just a coincidence. She recalls when she was giving the lady the taiyakis and says that when she got closer, she caught a glimpse of what was in her pocket. She was carrying around oil and a lighter, which is risky. No matter how one looks at it, she seemed to be looking for any opportunity to commit arson. Even worse, she was provoked by a child saying something rude to her. He tells her that if she knew about it, she should have reported it from the start. She replies and says, "What for? It wouldn't have been enough evidence at the time." She smiles at him and says, "Do I even have the obligation to do so?" Hearing this surprises him, he tells her it's not out of obligation, but obviously, to save people. She replies and tells him that she said this before, and she was only accompanying him for his own good. He looks at her with fear as he calls her name. He asks her if she's a good person or a bad person. Hearing this surprises her for a bit. She replies and says, "Finally, you asked me." Hearing her say this confuses him. As she throws her ice cream wrapper, she continues and says that she'll give him a clear warning for now. If he keeps thinking it's natural to help others, then one day he'll die just like the real Miyu did, and calls him his kind-hearted little Yuushin. Hearing this scares him more. He asks her what does she mean by the real Miyu. She asks him if he wants to know the cause of Miyu's death. She continues and says that the day after the fireworks festival last year, her body was found in an alleyway. Fallen from the building, apparently, she jumped. Hearing this shocks him as he screams and asks, why did Miyu jump off the building? The fake Miyu replies and says that it's just the pretense. It wasn't an accident at all. As the fake Miyu remembers her fun time with the real Miyu, she says that the real Miyu was killed. And this is how this chapter ends. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you,